That's a great idea. So, and this is actually our record day too. So we don't normally drink wine at, well, it's 4 o'clock. I'm going to retract that. We drink wine whenever the opportunity presents itself, whether it's tasting or we've got a show coming up or we're having fun with friends. But it's really, Women on Wine is a celebration of wine and women. Men are welcome. Okay, so we don't keep men out. We definitely want to welcome everybody, but we're really, I think part of it is about us, taking the snobbery out of wine. We really want to encourage people to have glasses that they enjoy. You don't have to drink what we're drinking, but we also want to get rid of this, the fear of really embracing the industry in a positive way, and then also our travel and lifestyle stuff, because we both travel a lot and we try to manage everything as well as we can.
That's right. Well, and so let's do the traditional. What's in your glass? What's in your glass, Kelly?
So I have this fabulous Grenache. It's called Shatter. And these vines are located in, I want to say it's like Mora, France. Two winemakers in the U.S. discovered this incredible vineyard, and old school vineyard built on a hillside, unnatural elements. And Grenache grapes love a struggle. That's how they become so flavorful. So it's Shatter. There's the bottle, and that's what's in my glass. What's in your glass?
So I'm also drinking Grenache. So hint, hint, we have a Grenache episode coming up.
Oh yeah.
This is a Novelty Hill. This is a Washington wine called Novelty Hill. This winery. This winemaker they have their tasting room in Woodinville, but their grapes are grown for this bottle out in Stillwater Creek Vineyard, which is in eastern Washington, where it's hot and grapes love to grow and struggle. It's 100% Grenache. It's delicious. It's got divine cherries, currants, and it also has a really sultry long finish with a really mellow tannin. And for those of you who've never seen us do WomenOnWine.tv, we have been learning all these crazy words and what does tannin mean and how does that make my mouth feel? And so if you're thinking, what the heck are they talking about? Definitely join us on the show for sure, because we, like Kel was saying, we like to crush the wine snobbery on the planet.
Absolutely.
We don't use the words because we're learning.
Yes. And that's, I think that's another cool thing about what we're doing is, we're stumbling and we're learning, but we started out I drank wine. I rarely smelled it, but I drank wine and I knew what I liked and I knew what was good. But now it's like I'm so close to Napa and Sonoma that it's become a passion of mine, not just to understand the aromas and why things taste different on your palate and how they pair and things like that. But I'm like getting into the farming side. I'm very interested in how the harvest happens, how the, grapes get their taste and where certain types of grapes grow better than others and why. And so that's a geeky side of us, right? But we wanted to ask everybody too, in a show like Women on Wine TV, what kind of topics are interesting to you? Like, is there something, because we're coming up with all these ideas, but what we've realized too is operating in a vacuum, we're not going to deliver the best of what you need. So what are you guys curious about with wine? I mean, and Deborah didn't mention this, but she is in Woodinville, like adjacent to Woodinville, which is like the happening place. It's Napa 20 years ago. And
yeah.
That's a cool spot. Yeah. Very cool.
You could hop, skip, and jump there in about 20 minutes. And there is officially, it sounds like, I think last count, 117 wine tasting rooms. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That is awesome. 117. So how many have you been to so far?
I keep joking that I need to create like a Monopoly board that I can just cross them off. I have been to many, but I'm probably only halfway through them because some of them are very tiny and are not open on the weekends.
And some you go back to repeatedly because you love them so much.
Yes, I do. I am wine club member at some of them. And so, of course, I go back.
Absolutely. We've got about 1,800 close to me. And so what I'm starting to do, actually officially as of tomorrow, I'm going to be heading up to Napa. And I thought, it would be good to have a plan. And then I'm like, screw the plan. I'm going to jump in the car and I'm going to stop where the car takes me, because I want to find these places, the magical places, not just the Jordans. And when I say Jordan, I don't mean like I mean like Jordans and Silver Oaks, Tuomi's. Some of these vineyards have exceptional names, but I want to find those hidden gems for people too. I want people to be able to experience stuff that they're normally not exposed to. And how can you do that if you're always going down the, well-trodden path? You can't.
You can't. And I think that that's the fun part of the fun piece of wine in general, is that every turn you make, whether it's in Woodinville or Napa or Sonoma or Russian River or Santa Barbara, there's always something new to explore. And so I think that, and the use of grapes, of these obscure Rhone and Bordeaux grapes that we've never heard of, are starting to pop up more often now. And so sometimes I find myself like at the Whole Foods section, like looking at the wine, and the somm will come up and I'll look at me and I'll go, yeah, what do you want to try? Because of course it knows me now.
I love it. I love it.
Today?
And some of those wines will make you go sideways, right?
Sideways, but on bump. I love it.
So funny. So
are you drinking on that plane? What's happening at 10,000 feet? Did they give you something good, something red and delicious?
And shout out to Katarina, because she's in Italy. She had wine before tonight. Now it's 1 a.m. So she stopped. It's okay to stop, Katarina. And for any of you out there, it's okay to stop. Believe me, I think there's been a couple of times where we had so much wine, we actually needed to kind of unplug and take a wine break, because it shows up in the worst places, like your belly sometimes, right?
That's right. Katie's drinking coffee. That's okay. That's all right.
Coffee at 4:15, girlfriend. Basic wine. Katarina, what is a very basic wine? Can you share that from Italy with us? And Katarina also, you guys, so one of the most unpretentious somms I've ever met. She is a somm. She is very humble. She doesn't toot her own horn. I just love somms that it's not all about them and what they know. She's just, very giving, very, so you had a very basic wine. Well, no fancy Reserva or Doc G. What's a Doc G? Almost like a table wine. And table wines are cool too, right? I mean, Apothic Red was one of my favorite, I'm not going to be taking pictures of this on Instagram because it's a really basic wine. It's a nice blend and it's very affordable, but it's not a wow wine, right?
Love it. Well, and you know what? I think that there are layers and levels of wine that we all drink. And I think part of the mystery is trying to figure it out. On our team, Aubrey is a 20-something, and she's always looking for like the killer millennial find. And, she lives down by UCal in, the Marin, Santa Rosa area. And she is like, she's in the 3-digit up area for wine.
You know what? Katie Lance just told us she's got a wine emergency. And Katie, for us, the important things for wine emergencies is that we tackle them immediately. So we'll need your address so we can help you with your wine collection. Because it's busting at the seams and apparently you don't have any place to put it. We're going to help you with that. Put it in our mouths so it ends up in our tum-tums.
Yes, we are Women on Wine ambulance here.
Oh yeah. Okay, Katarina did a clarification because I said, "What is a DOCG?" It's a denomination of controlled and guaranteed origin. And that, Katarina, if you can clarify for me, in Europe, in particular, France, Spain, and Italy, verification of where grapes are grown this is a huge thing. This is like you're putting your name on the line. This is it has legal implications if you're not truthful about it. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
And feel free if you, I know it's 1 o'clock in the morning, so if you're in your PJs, feel free to decline. But if you want to jump in, feel free to jump in, Katarina. No problem. We've got an open seat. We'd love to cheers with you. Even though
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Katie, you can jump in with your coffee too. And don't be shy. Don't be shy, guys. Like, we are all about having conversations in and around wine. You know, we talked a little bit about, oh, Katarina's here. Yes. All the way from Italy at 1 a.m. Now, that is a brave individual. I would probably
wine.
There she is. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Salute.
Okay, I don't know if the connection is good. Do you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you. We can see you too, honey.
Okay, because I don't hear you very well.
Oh, you can't hear
I
us?
think it's very slow. I'm in a hotel room here. It's blue.
Ooh, it's very blue. It's a relaxing blue.
Katie doesn't want to be that person on the plane that's on a show at the same time she's flying with her coffee. I think it would be a hoot, Katie. What airlines? So, Katarina, you know, he was asking about the level of certification, like when you have to document the origin of your grapes. If somebody falsifies that, is that a criminal act in Europe?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I only know for Italy most. I mean, there are similar denominations in France and Spain, and I think also in Germany. But here, basically, you have to every year present the grapes. So if you want to go for the DOC, which is denomination of controlled origin, which is the lower denomination, or if you go for DOCG, so if you don't pass the rules in the rule book for the level each year, then you have to go. Then your wine becomes table wine, so you can't sell it that year as a.
So I'm curious, from your perspective, how difficult it was to get your SOM certification. How long did it take you, and what is that training like?
Well, I actually did it in Italian, and I'm Swedish, so it was a bit hard. But we do 3 levels, and I did them in I think took 2 years, almost.
And so are you level 1 on the SOM ranking? Because don't they have?
No, I'm actually level 3 at all levels.
Girl, that's awesome.
But I'm not that very good. I mean, I did it for fun. It's not like you even have to do the practice to be like very in the pose. But I'm not very good at that because when I start working, then kind of pour all over. So.
Well, so for people out there who are looking at maybe getting certified and they want to do something, they want to do it because it's fun versus, you know, they're going to make a career out of opening wine or educating people. What do you recommend the certification that they get is, or where should
I
they
think
start?
it depends on which field you're in. I mean, Italy is very kind of wine obsessed, so it's not that expensive to do a sommelier course anymore, because you have 2 or 3 major kind of associations, national associations, where you can do the course. But for example, in Sweden, where wine is not, I mean, it's only the last 10, 15 years that it's become more trendy to drink wine, and it's very expensive to do this course because you don't find it everywhere. I mean, it's very few organizations who gives the course. So when I talked to a friend back home, it should have cost like 3 times as much as it did where I did.
Oh my goodness.
But I think also, like, if you would do it in France or in Spain, it would also be fairly okay. And because it's more wine country, so I think they have more possibilities to, they have more places where you can take the course.
That's fantastic. Just joined. We're talking to Katarina. She is telling us the joy of being a som. This is so awesome. This is the beauty of Blab. It's so serendipitous.
But I didn't really think it was such a big deal because with a friend that we just saw the ad and we always liked wine, so it's like, oh, let's go. And then it's actually quite fun
Italy and take the course. It seems
so
like
organize a lot of wine tasting. Huh?
Exactly. It seems like in the U.S., you almost have to have a photographic memory. Is that how it is in Italy to get it? I mean, there's just so many.
It's a lot to study. It's a lot because you have to do the first level is like more chemical vinification processes and soil. And there you also have the more practical side, how to be a sommelier if you would like to kind of work as a sommelier. And then the second level here was kind of wine history around the world. So you study like not only here, but also like the US, New Zealand, France, Germany, South Africa. And then the third level was more kind of wine pairings. So food structure and why it's good with certain wines. So it's a lot to remember.
When you take the finals, what is that like?
Well, I did a PhD, so I thought like, well, you know, I've done a PhD, so how hard can it be to do kind of a sommelier exam? But I must say it was quite hard.
It's not as hard as a PhD, huh?
I did a PhD in history, so I felt like, well, how hard can it be? But it was actually quite nervous because it's so many different things to keep in mind, and you don't know what they will ask you about because they can ask anything.
Wow, I love it.
The written exam is okay, but the oral and the practical exams is quite difficult.
That's
because they can ask any wine pairing or any wine variety in the world and how it relates to something else, and then it's like, oh, I don't know. So half of the time you sit there like, I don't have any clue what you're talking about. But I passed. So.
Tell us about like in the landscape in Italy and where you serve. Do they have shows that people hear about what's happening in the wine space? Is there?
Sorry, I didn't hear you very well because I think the hotel Wi-Fi is very slow.
Oh, possibly.
Yeah, there's a little echo back there.
Yeah.
I'm really just curious how the news of what's happening in Italy is spread. Do you have online shows? Is there a big blog that you follow? Like, how do you follow what's happening in the wine space where you are?
You mean the people here in Italy or me specifically?
Yeah, in Italy.
I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people are, even if they're not somms, they're very into wine. So you can basically talk wine with everyone. But there's a lot of wine blogs, and there's a lot of wine writings going on. There's a lot of people on Twitter writing about wine, but often they only write in Italian, so it's a bit difficult to follow them. Perhaps if you're not.
Interesting.
So, Katarina, if you were the only person on an island and you were given one bottle, and that's it, what would it be?
Oh my God, I don't know. Oh, that's a really difficult question because I think I would take a bottle all alone.
You would take a bottle all alone?
A barolo from Piemonte.
Oh, now you're speaking my language. That's where my family's from.
But I don't know exactly which producer, but I think they would take a Barolo, an aged Barolo, because it's.
Wow. We know who to have on the show when we do a Barolo episode, Kel.
Yes, or if we end up on an island with only one bottle. Katarina select it for us.
But then I also like champagne, and perhaps champagne is better on a desert island. I don't know.
Absolutely. You probably won't drink it as fast if you have a little bit of champagne.
True.
Love champagne.
That's so funny.
So you have this TV show. I didn't really know that. I kind of saw it on Twitter, but
we've been doing it it's kind of morphed into a more wine, but we've been doing it for a total of 2 years now. So I think we've got 115 episodes, and they started out without wine, but we're like any other women in business, we're always trying to think about like, how do you get closer to doing what you're passionate about? How do you get closer to incorporating those things that you love in your day to day? And it was just like, oh my God, why are we not including wine? And so we hit ourselves in the forehead and said, "You're right. Why not?" And it's become a big part of our lives, huge part.
Completely. Well, and I think that, one of the things that we're also really passionate about is helping shine a light on women in business, and especially women who are in the wine space, because it's, like most industries, has been very male dominated, and especially the somm space. And so we're seeing so many more women. And it's fascinating because women, what we're finding is that they're much more nurturing when it comes to helping people understand wine and find the right wine, as opposed to it being more technical. It is more intimate and personal. And so I think that the wine space in general is going through its own renaissance, if you will, because of that. So congratulations being part of that.
Absolutely. Kudos, Katarina. Kudos.
But I think there's a lot of women are coming. I mean, here it's also very, very male dominated. Like also at the national level in the sommelier associations, it's very, very male dominated. So
we need to
I think it's also difficult for Italian women.
We need to change that.
Yeah, why is that? Would somebody please tell me why the wine space is so male dominated? I mean, it's cougar juice, for crying out loud. How did men take over the leadership spot in that space? Is it at some point were women not allowed to drink? I mean, thank God we weren't born then.
I think once upon a time, wasn't it once upon a time? Like in the 1800s and stuff, women were repressed or suppressed, or, you know what I mean.
Rebekah, jump in the open.
We have to kind of set a new trend for female.
Absolutely. More girls who code, more women in chemistry, more women, farmers in the wine space, growing vineyards and making wine. Absolutely. And somms. So kudos to you. Rebekah, you jumping in? Rebekah. We have another dear friend who's close by. We're going to see if we can get her in. It's like,
okay. I follow her blog about social media, actually.
Yeah,
awesome. We love Rebekah.
It's just taking a minute.
And here she comes. Hey, sweetie pie.
Sorry, the lighting's not too good. I felt like I had to come out on my office patio so I could actually cheer.
Yes. What's in your glass?
To your first Blab. Yay! It is my absolute favorite, Tobin James. And this one is a mix, so it's Merlot, Cab, and Cab Franc.
Yeah.
Delicious.
It sounds delicious.
Do you remember taking down a couple bottles of Tobin James when you did this? Remember that wine bar? Oh my God, we fell in love with Tobin James. I'm just totally the memories are splashing over me.
Oh, I cannot drive past it without stopping. And
okay,
it
ladies,
it's like welcome
bring
home.
The rest of us into the conversation. What happened here?
Oh, who are we talking about?
Tobin James.
Oh. So Tobin James is a winery. Is that what you're asking me? Where exactly? Oh, okay. So it's in Paso Robles, California.
Awesome.
So kind of the Central Valley. And it is, I think I have belonged to their wine club probably for a decade.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't even remember, and shame on me, the first place I fell in love with them or where I tried them. But from the moment I tried it, I was totally hooked, and I hadn't had a chance to actually get there until some time ago, but they just do the coolest stuff. They do picnics and just all kinds of fun events there at the winery. And when you walk in, it is a very different experience than just about any other winery, at least in my opinion. I was just going to joke. It feels like Welcome Home Week every time I go, because they've just got this huge group of people that are in there enjoying all of their wines. So you can do wine tasting, but they have just amazing food as well that they're cooking up right there. And so, like I said, it's an experience, which of course wine is an experience to me anyway. And they have just, I think, taken the whole art of helping you appreciate their wines to a whole different level. Yeah.
So
awesome.
In your opinion, I'm curious because when I walk into a winery, I can get anything from a completely standoffish, like, person in the tasting room to somebody who's extraordinarily welcome, makes me feel like you just described, like I've come home. What about this winery kind of stands out to you that others could learn from in the space?
First of all, their customer service is outstanding. So let's say they're short a bottle on something I want. They will actually reach out to me and they will tell me, hey, we're short one bottle, but how about we make it up with this or this or this within your next order, your next shipment. So their customer service, just their one-on-one, is amazing to me. And it's just so rarely seen that not just interactive with the members of their wine club, but they're proactive with them as well in making sure that they're just totally taken care of. They have every bit of information, right there available to them. So it's funny, I think I was just sharing with Deb, and I apologize, I'm trying to move around here. I didn't realize how bad the sun was behind me. But I was sharing with Deb, I wasn't a white wine drinker up until recently, and I tried one of theirs, and it was like this whole awakening for me. I was like, the sky parted and the sun came out, and I was like, what have I been missing? I love white wine. And now I just dipped my toe into rosé, which Kelly, you and I got to share a bottle together, which was amazing.
In LA.
Yes.
That was awesome. So, and that you brought up a great point, and I think that's some of us get into our comfort zone about particular wines. I was like, Cabernets and Pinot Noirs and the occasional Zinfandel, and that's it. I wasn't open to white. I wasn't open to rosé. Deborah starts pushing this stuff at me. You need to try this. You need to try this. And I'm like,
you're a pusher.
She's a wine pusher.
I'm a wine pusher.
She's my pushing wine partner.
I love it. My family calls me a food pusher, or a food Nazi most of the time. I'm like, try this. I feel like an Italian mother.
I'm the wine pusher and the food pusher.
Well, there you go.
But it was extraordinary, having all of these different tastes in front of me. And maybe at first you don't like things that are put in front of you because you're not used to them. Some of them you do have to acquire a sense of, right? And you repeatedly try them, and then you find one that is your niche or your perfect fit. I can't think of a wine now that I dislike except for the sweet ones.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I'm not a fan of the super sweet. So I definitely stay away from that. But it is funny, isn't it? How it is similar to food, where you kind of figure out what you like and what you don't like, and you stick with it. And I don't know if it's that my palate has changed. I don't know if it's, maybe what I'm willing to try has changed. But yeah, when I first started drinking wine, I did not enjoy. I just didn't have a taste for white wine at all. I think maybe it's a little bit more complex, and I didn't appreciate the complexity of it. And I could be totally wrong on that, but there's something has changed, and I'm totally good with that. Now, like Katie said, I need a second, wine fridge just to house it all.
Absolutely. I think people our chemistry in our bodies is supposed to change like every 7 years. Right. So I think that there's something to that, our internal makeup, that can maybe turn us off or turn us on to wine. But also this history of Chardonnays being super, super oaky, started turning people off of Chardonnays. And now they've changed some of the how they're fermenting the Chardonnay, and it's stainless steel. What are we doing this for?
She pushed you.
There's, to me, the whole the quintessential California Chardonnay is I can't handle it. It's overwhelming to me. It gives me heartburn. Seriously, the second sip, I'm like, somebody, I need milk.
And
Really?
I think to Kendall Jackson's credit, they were the ones who probably were the most known for the Oki Chardonnays, and they've come away from that. I
Well-
have not verified this firsthand. I will go myself and verify.
Well, we've talked about how wine grapes and styles are like fashion. They come in, they get really popular, and then they fly back out. And how, you know, Chardonnay had its day, Cabernet has had its day, and now there's this whole renaissance of these beautiful blending grapes from the Rhone Valley, the Sancerres and the Counoise, and even Mourvedre, which you're actually seeing on the label. It's not like a hidden ingredient in a red blend. And I think that is what's so exciting about this space is now people are kind of a little bit more open. They're like, okay, so I've gotten out of Cabs and Chardonnays as my standard, and now I'm going outside. Now I'm going to try something else. And I'm like, I can imagine as a sommelier or just even as a wine steward in a restaurant, like they must be so excited to be able to open different things now.
No kidding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Totally agree. Do you guys have any questions about wine that we may not know the answers to that we're happy to be honest about? Or we were asking too, you know, there are topics about wines that, you know, we're bringing a lot of stuff to the forefront that we didn't know about and that we're getting enlightened on. But if there are things that people want to hear about in the show, we're super open, and we change our topics all the time, change our focus all the time on the show as far as wines, because there are so many of them and so many, you know, winemakers, vintners, somms, like Katarina is a certified somm level 3. She did it all.
Wow, that's impressive.
And she's got a PhD. Princess Katarina has a PhD as well.
I have a lot of unnecessary things that can't use, but I have them anyway.
But make sure and follow Katarina, because she is the most unpretentious somm I have ever run into in my life. And I'm like very grateful that you are in this chat with us, in this blab. It's just like, can we pretty that up a little bit? In this blabé with us, and it's 1:30 in the morning, 1:40 in the morning in Italy. She's just great.
Oh my goodness, that's where you're at?
My brother, he's on vacation in the south of Italy, so I'm on vacation too, so I can stay up until late.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
So much fun. Well, and I think that, you know, one of the things that we love about the show is that we find these tiny, obscure little boutique wineries that have these amazing stories. And so, you know, feel free to shoot us a message about those too. Like if you've got a friend who is making wine in their garage. I mean, like those are the stories in the conversations we want to have, because I think it's almost like anything else in life when winemakers, there's the middle part of the story, and the journey is the part that's so elusive. We hear when they started and we hear when they're victorious. We kind of want the juicy in between. So having the conversations with the folks who are like, okay, yep, I made a case of wine. Woo! What was that like? We want to know.
Well, my idea was with the Blab, and if my Blab would work or not, but it's fun anyway. But I wanted to kind of try and introduce local producers here, but I don't know if I can get them on the Blab because their English is not, they're a bit afraid. So, because often they don't speak very well English, so then they're a bit afraid to kind of jump in. But I hope to be able to convince some of them to participate, because I think it would be fun. Like I visited one last month, so he took me also to the vineyard, and a very cool guy. He kind of told me everything about his vineyards, his grandfather, the whole production, which was very small because he's a biodynamic and organic grower. And it was very interesting, and it would be fun to get him online, but I don't know if he will say yes, because I don't think his English is very. But I can act as an interpreter.
Is to have a translator. Have the third seat be a translator.
That's not a bad idea.
I'd watch that.
I totally would. Job now. That's what I do. But
we're like coming to see you in 2017. If you're still in
Really?
Italy,
You can
Katarina.
come all. We can organize a big wine event here.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good excuse.
A Women on Wine event. That sounds amazing.
We're going international. So we should take just a second, Deb, I think, and talk about the Women on Wine adventures, because we started this. We actually tried a Women on Wine experience, and we didn't know if it was going to be successful. We didn't know, exactly how it was all going to turn out, but we wanted to do something incredibly different, and it feels like we achieved that. So, Deb, take it away.
Certainly. Wow. You get to talk about the adventure.
Boom.
So one of the interesting things about most conferences or events where there's learning is you're learning all day, and then you try and cram a bunch of networking into 2 or 3 hours over way too many glasses of wine. And so most of the time you don't remember the conversations you were having. This is just a reality. It's just a reality. And we're at a point where we love to experience wine, but we don't necessarily want to get to that point. So when Callie and I were talking about, like, we're going to this big conference in an industry that we're both passionate about, what can we do that's different? And so we thought, well, let's do a tour. Let's do a wine tour where we invite, 20, 25 people to go on an adventure with us. And so we had this gorgeous luxury wine coach gather us all up at the hotel where everyone was staying, and we drove up to Napa. We kind of started at the top of Napa, and we did 4 wineries. Side note, we learned 3 wineries as tops.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was kind of crazy. Trying to wrangle cats.
It was stressful.
But, we created this experience where at each different winery, the first one was Raymond, and it was just divine. And if you know anything about Boisé, the winemaker and owner there, he is just over the top.
Jean-Charles Boisé, darling.
Yes.
Katarina may have heard of him because he's actually comes from the family of the largest wine holder in France, the Boisé family, and he is actually married to an American by the name of Gina Gallo. That's a very powerful wine couple here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went to Raymond Vineyards.
Yes, and they toured us around, and they, of course, poured tons of bubbles and delicious wine, and we had nibbles.
Yes.
And it was a lovely amount of nibbles, and we saw the whole place. We saw the Baccarat Crystal and the crazy winemaking rooms. I mean, this place is like... You have to go to Raymond if you've never been there, because there's really no words to describe all of the different elements of experience you have there. And then we all scooted out, took a great group photo, and then went to the next location and had a gorgeous garden tasting at Sullivan. And oh my goodness, the boys serving the Cougars wine.
The boys greeting us at the door, jaw dropped. Yes.
And, they knew what they were doing when they made the assignments for the work shifts that day. So we had this beautiful garden tasting there, and then scooted off down to Sonoma, to Buena Vista, which is another one of Jean-Charles Boisé's wineries. And we stayed in the white bubble room. Oh, my God! This place has boas and hats and tiaras, and, of course, every bubble they serve is at the bar. So you're basically putting your tush up to the bar and saying, fill it with bubbles for like an hour. It's just crazy.
And we have the photos on our website, WomenOnWine.tv. We wrapped it up with a race to Gunlock Bunchu, which is also known as Gun Bun, which we adore. And it's a pretty casual winery. When you look at Buena Vista and you look at Raymond, they are over the top, and Sullivan certainly, the beautiful garden, a little subdued, but Gun Bun is pretty casual, and their wine is absolutely insane. And we paired 4 different wines with chocolate. Who does not love chocolate?
Oh,
paired with wine, seriously?
Seriously,
wow.
Pinot Noirs. I mean, we had some of the best pairings. And I think out of all the experiences, that chocolate and wine just it took people's breath away. It was incredible.
Ladies, I think I'll pop out so you can get some other people in here. I see Robert's in here. He probably would love to.
Yeah, we'd love to have Robert in.
Probably love to chat with you.
Thank you so much, Rebekah. It's great to see you.
You too. Congratulations on making
First Blab check.
Yay! All right. See you.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye-bye.
He's with Raina. Oh, hi, Raina. You can bring her in if you want. You don't have to
bring Raina in.
Oh, I love it.
Hello, Dave Rosano. Okay, can you, Katarina? Can you pronounce those two wines for us that you put out there?
Okay, so Castello Verrazzano is a very classic. Actually, the castle used to belong to the original Verrazzano that discovered America, North America. And the owner now, he bought it in the 50s, I think, his father. And they do a really good Chianti Classico. It's a really, really good wine.
Excellent.
And Montefiorale is a smaller producer. He's one of the smallest in Chianti Classico, but his Chianti Classico is also very interesting. And the other one, the first one is Sargiarcuri, which is this really, really small organic producer in the south, in Calabria. And he does a really, really good rosé wine.
Wonderful. Well, we will definitely find out on our websites and add them in when we do the recap.
Because I know mostly about Italian wine, so that's why I kind of shout out about Italian wine. I still have to learn more about California wine.
Check out those wines. They're in the stream under Ricasole 99. And Robert, I have to comment on this because this is so hysterical. So Raina is Robert's daughter who we invited in, but she's having a mood attack and she is not at the age where she can be subdued by wine like most women.
Yes, he missed. So funny about that is Robert was not in earlier when we were talking about the relationship between women and wine. So when he listens to the replay, he's going to get a good chuckle out of that because we are speaking to his future Raina.
I love it. I love it. And actually, Robert, to your question, wines in New York, we are headed very close to you. We'll be in Niagara next month in August for a Women on Wine adventure.
Yes.
So hop up to us, please.
Hopefully out to Hudson Valley too. Maybe spring next year. We're going to skip the snow season on the East Coast.
Yeah, no snowmageddon this year. No thanks. Been there, done that.
That is too much. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Anything else we want to chat about tonight? Oh, hey, Jersey guy. My glass of Grenache is slowly disappearing.
Yes, and you know what that means.
Yes.
We'll have to get another, and that means we may be off camera.
You know what's interesting? So I don't see Juliana. I know we invited her, but these glasses are made by Juliana's Glass, and they are just the most divine, hand etched. Because each little bling is put on its own. You can kind of see it here. Kelly and I are pretty addicted to drinking out of these glasses.
Yes,
now.
we are. Juliana, you need to send us more. We've gotten a lot of mileage out of 4 glasses, but I think we need 4 more. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. They're just
so sparkly. We will post a link, Miss Rebekah.
We have one, darling.
Yes, darling. Let me put a link in there right now. Okay, so it's julianaglass.com, right?
Yep.
Yep, there it is.
And if that is not working, then what the beauty of Blab is we can continue to have conversation about this Blab, add links, etc. afterwards. I found that out after my first Blab with Rebekah and from Robert. So this is just such a fun platform. I'm so thankful that everyone joined us for this first Blab. I think this was just a riot and a half. And I think we will definitely continue to enjoy this platform. What do you think, Kel?
Oh, we must, darling. We'll be back.
We'll be back. Oh my
Okay, I'll leave you now because I think I'm going to go and sleep for a while.
Okay, it was great to see you, Katarina.
We'll let you know about
And then
Bye.
Bye, sweetheart. See you soon. Okay, and I want to leave this blab with a quote. A good man can make you feel sexy, strong, and able to take on the world. Oh, sorry. That's wine. Wine does that. The quote is by an anonymous person who probably is not a great friend to men. We know that to be different, but wine definitely helps.
That is so funny. That reminds me of that quote that throughout history, most of women's words were quoted as anonymous.
It's a self-preservation thing, I think, right?
Well, or that, they wouldn't have been quoted if it were a female's name. So I am giving credit to a female who is, let's call her Betty. Her name's Betty. Betty wrote that quote. And I agree with you, Betty.
Cheers, Betty.
Cheers to Betty.
And cheers to each and every one of you. We will see you back. When are we coming back, Deborah? We haven't even talked about this yet. Tuesday nights, I think we're thinking.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
Oh, Tuesday. We'll figure it out and we'll let you guys know. Yep. Please follow us. Follow Deborah11 at Deborah11. Follow me. You can see me there. And Women on Wine TV. We'll be back soon.
Absolutely. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
And you'd like to say on the show, bisous.
Bisous. Santé. Keep going, Katie. Go, Katie, go.